back to the Berg podcast. Thanks for joining us today. With me today is Dan.
Hey, everybody.
And Ford.
Hey, how's it going?
And this is episode 208. 4 years of podcasting. Not all in this room, but with the three of us doing over 90% of the episodes, right? It's got to be at least.
It's over 90.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Of the 208, there's probably only been a dozen times, maybe less, that it wasn't the three of us doing it. So,
and I would say 98, 99% that it wasn't at least two of us, like maybe a guest or something.
Yeah,
so
that's for sure. I mean, that number of times it wasn't at least two of us is pretty rare. I know.
I think you did it once, didn't you? I know once or twice.
Yeah, I think I've done it at least once, maybe twice with some partners that help us with benefits and things like that. Like Tracy and I did one together. Yeah. So very few times. It hasn't been the three of us sitting together in some fashion doing a podcast. I did a little research in the parking lot on my way in because that's generally how unscripted we go. But I think we've talked about this before. I found it interesting the last time I heard it. The majority of podcasts, so between 50 and 60% of podcasts, don't make it more than 10 episodes. And the median podcast length is like 14 episodes long, which is pretty wild. 75% of them don't make it more than a year. And so AI, so Chat GTP, considers the Berg podcast exceptional in terms of consistency.
That's something.
Yeah. They didn't give any other ratings, so let's get to that point.
There were no ratings on content quality or interaction.
None of that.
Relevance. None of those things were rated. I didn't ask for those ratings.
That's probably smart you didn't.
But on consistency, especially podcasts that do it once a week, which is not the normal trend.
Yeah.
Where we are, gentlemen, we're exceptional. So congratulations.
It's good to be exceptional.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny, because I don't know what we thought when we started it. I mean, I guess Ford would have to speak to that because it was your idea to start it. But what did we think we would keep doing it? Was it because there's been other shotgun methods to get the team information that we did it for a little bit and then we stopped and we started, or we stopped altogether and didn't restart it. So it's not like just because we start something, we always just do it in perpetuity. We don't. It has to be effective. And I do think we feel like this is effective just because the guys still talk to us about it. The team still talks to us about it. Mm-hmm. We'll go out to different places and see it. And I think on some level of analytics, you and Tori probably are the two that would look at it, but that it is still being engaged with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking about the word exceptional.
All right. And you're pretty pleased with yourself for being exceptional.
No. I think that you just have to be an outlier. That's all. You don't have to be good at it.
Just an exception.
You just have to be an exception to the rule.
Yeah. It's not necessarily good.
But I think that that actually speaks well for why we've continued to do this. It's a little bit of an outlier. It's a little bit different. It's especially when we started outside of each one of our normal comfort zones, but for whatever reason, it just seems to work. I'm not saying that our guys get something from every single episode, or the general public that listens to this gets
people from Istanbul.
Yeah, the people from Turkey and Istanbul and wherever else that have decided to subscribe to our podcast. But I think that just because it's a little different for us, it actually continues to work.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. We've talked about this before. I don't know, you and I have had this conversation, is it still effective? Should we keep doing it? And it, in a weird way, feels hard to stop doing it. Is that fair? I don't know.
It does. You know why? I think one of the reasons it could be difficult for us to stop is because if it serves no purpose to anyone, that might still be okay because it puts the three of us in a room and has us just talk in general about with purpose or without, with a topic or without, which was really a hallmark of the best time of our growth. You know what I mean? Where we were most successful, we made a concerted effort to have the three of us spend not a large amount of time, but a certain amount of time together at an interval that was consistent. and it made us just talk and be better at what each of us did because we knew what was going on. So maybe it feels that way just because it's, whether it's cathartic to us or whether it's actually beneficial that we actually sit down and talk, which has become increasingly harder to do given circumstances.
It's almost like nostalgia, right? We do it because of when we started doing it.
Well, but I also think because it's effective. Like I want to be clear about that. Even if it helps no one else, I know it helps me personally to be able to sit with you and Ford and just talk about whatever the topic is. And usually we'll wander into something that is beneficial to me to be able to have a conversation that maybe I could have gotten to with you given the right scenario. And actually, Ford had said something earlier and it came to mind was when we just were in Charlotte. Like we took that trip and we were really busy and we had to get a lot of stuff done. But circumstantially, we decided we would drive, not fly. And the drive actually worked out to be, we always say, like the meetings were good, but the conversations we had before or after on the side were really something really beneficial came out of it.
Sure.
I'm not downplaying the peer group, but I am saying coming out of the peer group on the ride home, conversation I was able to have with you and Brad was really beneficial in giving me a little bit more purpose and direction and maybe urgency in some of the decisions and things I had to work on for the team. And I think that there's a similarity with that in this, and the podcast for us internally is I think we all bring our perceptions to it and we end up having conversations openly that people can listen to, hearing us sort of work through potential concerns or issues or decisions. And you may not even know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like the truth is we could have a conversation that is vague and really not hit on very specific things, but be around a topic that we're actually working on that may help one of us to make a decision or come up with a different perception.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, and the consistency factor, I mean, that is our jobs day to day.
Sure.
A bunch of stuff on like LinkedIn or different things about like, what do people want from the people that they report to? And consistency is one of the biggest things because if they're constantly getting something different, it's very difficult to do things. Someone said something to me one day. They're like, so like, when did it all come together? And I just laughed at them. I was like, I've been doing the same thing for 20 plus years. Like you get up in the morning, you go to work. Like that's the same type of thing with this podcast. And like, there's goofy ones about, what our favorite sandwiches are or work stuff. And sometimes it's like our work stuff is very, we're talking around stuff just because of the kind of work that we do. Our team will know what it is, but we're kind of dancing around it. And sometimes we can be more, illuminating, but that just depends on what project or what type of thing we're trying to get through. Yeah. But I do agree that like, it is almost like the podcast is a fly in a management meeting, situation of sorts, depending on the time.
Sure. Yeah.
On a sidebar there, as I take us off the rails.
Yeah, sandwiches.
So Aaron wanted me to relay this. So, I've said Gentili's is the best steaks, I think, right now. Okay. Right? Like, they're really good. The roll's good. Everything's good about it. Good. She said there's a new place in Conshohocken open called Pops.
Okay.
And I don't know what makes her think it's going to be great, but she said lots of reviews. And I don't even know where she saw this because Aaron, I'm the one that likes cheese sticks. But she said it to me 3 times. And today she said it to me. She was like, you got to tell Ford about Pops. Because it could be like the new place in Conchi. Because remember, we lost our Conchi spot.
Yeah, Conchi's kind of dead to me for a minute since our last spot.
Since our last spot.
Now, if they opened up in the old spot,
that would be. I don't know where it is. She said it's downtown where all the restaurants are. So maybe I'm there all the time.
If it's on 4th Street, like,
if it's on 4th Street, what if it has the sandwich too? Then what if Pops has the right sandwich and the cheesesteak? Then we're going for it for sure.
There you go. Yeah. No, that's
Brian Pops. Never even got to have one of those sandwiches.
No. What was the old place called?
It was it 4th Street Deli or something? It was.
I
want to say that, but that sounds like the one in the city. But it was on 4th Street, and it was this little spot. And the funniest part about it is we told this on the podcast before. Sure. Ford and I went back there like 2 fat kids. We knew where we were going. You could have blindfolded us, and I can get to this place. And they had 2 sandwiches, a chicken and a roast pork sandwich that were really good that we liked. And we walked in to what was now a place for like wedding cakes and wedding stuff. And we were like ready to, oh boy.
What happened here?
This is not right. I'm definitely in the right building. We walk back outside, now I'm in the right building. I don't know what happened here. And we went back in and questioned them. Yeah. Like what, I was supposed to get a sandwich here, and there was no more sandwich. They said, yeah, they closed down. I was like,
dang.
No.
All right, Pops. No,
So Pops might be the spot. I'll test it and let you know.
There you go.
I like testing out new cheesesteak spots. So that's good.
So you do that. Like,
I like to go into old cheesesteak spots though too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So
because I've been trying a couple different sandwiches at places, and like I always had a thing with like say coconut shrimp, right? Like everywhere I went, I would just try it.
Sure.
Like, and I got to the
it's
point,
a good measuring stick.
Right.
Coconut shrimp. Yeah.
They say that about chicken parm too.
right?
Yeah.
Actually,
And
chicken
like
parm.
after a while, I just stopped because I got more misses. I mean, my batting average was too low. Like like so I'm like, okay, there's certain spots where like if I go there, I'm going to do this item, but I always just order at different places and it comes out and it's like a grease ball or it's whatever. And I'm like, I got to stop doing that because that's like if it says the word Philly.
On
a cheesesteak, it's an automatic out if you're out of town. Yeah. If it says Amish chicken, I'm automatically out. Like there's certain things.
What do they call Lancaster? Do they call it Amish? What's the one they always have at the airport? Like
airline chicken.
Airline chicken. But they always reference like Lancaster or something. Like, well, I don't know how these two things got.
No, the cheesesteaks you can't compare them outside the Northeast. You can't call it a Philly cheesesteak if you're more than like, I don't know, 60 miles from Philadelphia, right? I mean, is that fair? Like, is that too far? Is 60 miles too far? I mean, I'm just trying to like.
Well, that's kind of the thing too. Like, there's certain towns like a corned beef sandwich.
Yeah,
there's some place in Philly that can do okay, but you go to New York City for it. Like,
Sure.
I mean, it's a calling card that has to be. Because someone the other day was telling me about Detroit pizza, and I'm like, well, I've heard of Chicago pizza. I've heard of like
I've
New
heard
York
of Detroit
style.
pizza.
I've never heard of Detroit pizza, and he's like trying to explain it to me. And I'm like,
is it different?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like what Pizza Hut used to do. It's not full bread. It's like half the amount. I don't know. But he was explaining, you got to try this. And I was just laughing because I'm like, never heard of it before.
Real thin or
no,
real
like
thick?
middle, like not the big, thick, real heavy duty one, but I guess it's got like an inch of crust on it or something. Who knows?
Okay. Right.
But
like a pan pizza, but not. But
Is it
not
one
deep
of them
dish.
too? They put the sauce on top
that's
of the
the one.
cheese.
The sauce. Yeah, the cheese is on the bottom.
That's the Detroit one.
Yeah.
I thought so.
I was like, wait, I get that in South Jersey. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's been interesting to see what when places start putting like Philadelphia cheesesteak on it. You're like, yeah, sorry.
All right, so we're sandwiches now. Here's a sandwich that would you get it anywhere is the Cabano sandwiches, like the Cuban sandwiches. Like I feel like they make them everywhere now. But is that something?
Nah, that's got to be Miami to get a real one.
Yeah, I say like Tampa, Ybor City.
Yeah,
like,
you got to be like
you got to be
Florida.
you got to be somewhere where there's a Cuban population.
Yeah.
Right? You can
if they don't have like Cuban coffee on the menu, I'm not getting a Cubano sandwich. Like, it's like there's just a certain thing.
I just thought about it. That's another one of those sandwiches.
Yeah.
You find some good spots, like transplants essentially.
Well, that happens with cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
The problem with cheesesteak, I find the problem with sandwiches outside of this area is the roll.
Yeah.
That the roll isn't as good, and that's what makes the sandwich. So, it's not like anybody couldn't chop up steak and make a steak sandwich. I don't know why they.
Yeah, that's fair.
But they should be able to.
Should be able to.
But they don't.
It's consistency. Yeah.
It is consistency.
Sorry, go back to the podcast for a second, but
you along the lines of the podcast, you can sort of in this area, you can pick and choose what you like. Like there's a lot of different variations on a cheesesteak from what kind of steak, and that's sort of. I think that's partly going back to the podcast. That's what's the beauty of this is you can listen to our podcast. And you can have a podcast that's purely about equipment or about production or about how we work. Mm-hmm. You could also have one about all of our favorite foods.
Yeah.
Right. You could have one about holidays. You could have one about our families. You could have one about sports. You could have we're not just sitting here trying to talk about work, because I think at its core, when I understood it, when Ford brought the idea to me, and it was uncomfortable because we didn't have cameras then, but just the idea of like me hearing my voice and people hearing my voice, it made me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And then when we added the cameras, that kicked it up a notch of uncomfortable. But the point was we were trying to let everybody else be involved, be in the room, right? Be there. Like when Ford and I, when I just was brought on by Ford, and I would just be on sites, just randomly talking to people, not even knowing what I was talking about. Right, like just trying to interact and trying to get my footing and trying to find where I belonged, and Ford trying to convey why he did things. And that was the idea in my mind of the podcast, was just to put us in a room and talk and realize we're still here, we're still involved, we're still active, and let people who don't see us as much be able to be part of the conversation. That was always the hope when we always said, reach out with your questions or see what you want us to talk about. It's because we want to be able to be relevant. and be able to answer a question that's harder to answer when you don't see us.
Yeah.
Well, that, and also like with the question thing, sometimes it takes traction, it doesn't. But the reality is too, if you have a question, there's probably somebody else that does too.
Yeah.
But if we have a get together event and you come up and ask and you take the time away when everyone's just trying to enjoy the event, and then that you might get your answer, but nobody else got the answer to the question.
Yeah. No. And it's funny because, like that applies everywhere. I was actually, I was thinking about that just the other day. There's like all this drama right now with Nick Castellanos and Topper and not communicating clearly. And Topper's like, well, if he thinks I'm not, then that means everyone else in the locker room probably thinks I'm not either. So I got to figure it out. That's part of the job, right? And like, that's like, if one person's got a question, chances are a lot of people have that same question. And this was hopefully a method what we came up with to try and address some of that. Like the three of us can't all be on site, any site, any given day
and
of the
have
week.
Good conversation, right?
And,
that's
stop production, right?
Yeah.
Stop folks from
Yep.
doing what they're good at, and so that's difficult. So like this was one of the ideas that came about from this, and I think like Clay, right? Clay was the guy who kind of proposed it and was like, "Why don't you guys try this?" Came from the idea of him having just sat in some of those meetings and like the three of you, us, just sort of talking things out. A lot of times is kind of what you guys were referring to earlier. Like it's where we do some of our best work, and for better or worse. But this was like a common theme in some of those meetings. It was a common theme like during COVID. Like we're like, oh well, are we physically able to do some of what we have to do from our houses or wherever else? And yeah, but we definitely were better as a team. Sitting in the room, we get more done. So I just think that's like where some of this came from. Is like if we're gonna sit around and like talk, let's let our team
hear what
we're talking about.
And it speaks to the transparency that we've always had, right? Sure. Like in other words, we've always operated as like an open door company where there's, if you have a question, come ask us the question. If you think you know a better way, tell us the better way. If you think there's tell us. Right. And we're not proud, and I want to do it whatever the best way is, whatever the most efficient way is, whatever the safest way is. So if you have input that's beneficial, then share it. And I think, it comes from that same space that we're, if you ask us to talk about something, the three of us will talk about it. Yeah. And it's, we've talked about uncomfortable things, we've talked about things we don't, that we struggle with, we've talked about different things. And it also lets us know a little bit about us. Cause I think all three of us, I believe, are pretty good communicators when we are actively trying to communicate. But I know, and I'm not going to speak for you two, but I know for me, the problem is I'm not always actively trying to communicate. Like I'm not the best listener. Sure. And if I think I want to get something done, I may not even be listening to you. I may be just trying to figure out how to get you to accept what I want to do because I think it's best. And so putting us in this environment where, you're talking and Ford's talking creates a scenario where I have to listen. Like it isn't the Dan show, right? And I'm not trying to accomplish anything. I'm just trying to be a value added piece to this conversation. Sure. And I think that each of us does that. And so it plays to some of our strongest suits, which is putting us in that scenario where it's just a conversation and let's see what happens. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is too, when you said earlier about like 12 episodes or 10 episodes or whatever it is, if we were only talking about one thing, there's no way you get to 208 episodes. No. I mean, we're going to talk about equipment. I mean, we know some guys that can do that.
I think somebody could. He got himself a new Suburban. For any of our compadres that are in that peer group. He took the lesson. He said he became the dumbest man in the room. He sent me a picture of a nice, clean SUV with no toolbox in the back. I was very proud of him. So it was a big step for him.
That's a big step.
He did have golf clubs sitting on the third row of the seat, which I pointed out was wrong. I was like, those go behind the seat. But he said he had all his stuff for
he
hunting.
took those toolboxes out just beforehand.
No, it's all his hunting stuff was in the back. So then I was even more pleased. I was like, now he's got two hobbies he's working on. He could be a whole new man.
More than one hobby in the back of his truck.
More than one hobby in the back of his truck and no bolts.
Yeah. That's great.
I mean, I'll believe it when I see the no bolts, but the picture didn't show any bolts and no toolboxes. The third row was flipped up.
That was a rental one.
This other one was in the shop.
Yeah.
Right.
So everybody else in the peer group, you know who you are. So if you want to touch base with him, just confirm. Maybe somebody down there can sneak up on him.
I would say we need some candid photos of
maybe
this
David
truck.
or somebody could sneak up, take a picture of the back of the truck with the tailgate open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's exactly the thing. Is that like if we literally were just talking about that, one, it's not interesting. I mean, like there's only so much information that can be dealt with.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that are the big podcasters out there are doing usually like daily news topics, right? Because then it's fresh and clean. But if you're trying to, if you're a murder mystery podcaster, you get to the end of the murder mystery and it's like, okay, now what? So it's like, that's the neat thing about this is meandered through from, starting with our core values to some of the new policies we brought into place and different things we've actually broken the news of sort through our podcast to people. And, it's funny, I'll get emails or I'll get, LinkedIn messages from a friendly competitor down the road once in a while. Like, he let us know the one time we put up the wrong podcast. I mean, so some people find it interesting, and to them, it's more about, is it more cathartic to us than it is to the outside or not? But, at this point, 208, I don't know when the next celebration is, but it's like, sometimes, hey, there's no doubt that it's a struggle to do it on a weekly basis. It's,
sure.
Logistically, it's a challenge, topically, it can be a challenge depending on what's going on at the time, a lot of things, but, consistency does matter in a lot of things that we do.
And I feel like we could, one of the interesting parts for me of the podcast is I think we could sit down and we could do 2 or 3 a week if we just wanted to talk about nothing. Right? Like that's us in the office, right? Like that's just, I wander out and I want to talk about something, or, you know what I mean? I need a minute to talk about something other than what I've been focused on. We have that conversation. But the trick is that we really try and keep it somewhat work related and then identify key points, not ahead of time, but as we're going, like, hey, we should talk about this, or we should talk about this person or this event or this job or this thing or this policy, or a holiday or something going on with someone's family, and focus on all these things. But the glue that keeps it together is just actually our desire, us enjoying having a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
So you want a separate side rail thing here? The Eagles yesterday played half a game, but they played the right half. So do you know how fast Jordan Davis ran when he was
18 miles an hour?
18.5 miles forward. He weighs 360 something,
336.
336.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother. I was talking to Mike this morning. And I said, I'd like you to do the math and figure out the force of if he had hit anybody at 18.5 miles an hour. And Mike was like, I ride my bike a lot. I don't ride my bike at 18.5 miles an hour normally, like unless I'm really trying to go fast. And he was like, and I think he weighs more than me and my bike. I was like, Mike, he weighs more than you and Tracy's electric bike. He was like, yeah, that's only 63 pounds. He was like doing the math. I was like, think of the physics of that. That would be unpleasant to get hit by that.
Yeah, 336. He hit 18 and a half miles an hour.
So everybody out there, if you're near a treadmill at some point, crank that thing up. Try and see how fast. Watch what happens when you get over 13, 14. It starts to get real dicey.
I think I mean, that it's a testament to what a professional athlete looks like, right? Yeah. If somebody can be 336 pounds and still, I mean, it wasn't for very long, but 50 plus yards.
50 plus yards.
Right? 18 miles an hour at the peak,
that's something.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah. So, and it's not like he's the only one who can do it. So
they did say it was the first person they've ever clocked over 300 pounds going 18 miles an hour
for 50 plus yards.
Yeah, for 50 plus yards.
Yeah, I mean, I saw something like that, like the first player over 330 pounds or whatever to run a 50 yard touchdown. They had to find a stat. They're like, okay, not 329, but over 330. Yeah, for sure. That was wild.
That was wild.
That's all I saw. I didn't really. Like, Addie and I went and got pedicures yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's kind of our semi-annual thing before she has a dance, like a homecoming or a prom.
I thought maybe you had to dance.
No, I don't have.
Right. The daddy-daughter dances are done?
No, she doesn't invite me anymore. She'd actually prefer that I not be anywhere near the venue, but that's okay.
That's all right.
But I'm here on school business. I need to be here.
Yeah.
I don't think that would play well.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not chaperoning. I'm here for a board meeting. So.
Just down the hall.
Yeah.
I'm just very well dressed.
But I was watching it while we were checking out. And so I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to lose this game.
I thought the same thing. I was like, they're not blocking 2 in a row.
I was like, the field goal, they're going to lose this game. And holy smokes.
Yeah, they did not.
Yeah.
The NFL is in a weird spot. Like, they're trying to do like the grow thing and like, but do you think they're oversaturated? It's Thursday. It's Friday. It's Sunday morning. It's Sunday afternoon. It's like Sunday night. Like,
I mean, people love it.
if it's your team, but like, okay, we used to do fantasy together.
Yes, sure.
And I don't know how many times, like, I still wasn't conditioned to Thursday night games. You wouldn't even like set your lineups because it was like, okay, you got to set your lineups on like Sunday morning or something, and like for the games, whatever. But like, it's just they're doing so much because they're trying to get every last drop. Which
I'm doing a pool with Scott that Scott invited me to, and I forgot to set my. I mean, I did pick the picks.
Oh, okay.
But I don't actually know who I picked. I picked it on, and I told Clemis this. I was like, I pick it on like Tuesday. He was like, you don't even know anything yet. I was like, I know that I'm going to forget if it gets to Thursday. So Tuesday, it's on my calendar. I'll know who's injured.
Just do it.
We're just going to go with it.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I'll look at it again. Maybe
fly.
I do. Maybe I don't. I'm just going to let it fly.
Yeah. I feel like that way a little bit until other sports are over.
right.
Like once baseball season's over,
That's the only thing you got. So let's do it.
Yeah, I'm like looking for something else, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, can we get a Tuesday game? I mean, come on.
They're listing like, whoa, we can do a special Tuesday game. But it used to be Thursday was only Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, and sometimes supply and demand, like, you just wonder at what point is that there? I mean, you see the stadiums, you see all that stuff, but you're just saying,
there's not the same level of competition. That's the problem I would have. They could play football every day of the week if it was a great game every day of the week.
Sure.
I think the problem I have is you start to see some of these games and you just know, like, I mean, this is going to be a blowout. And if it's not, it's usually just the 2 teams played poorly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
or you hear the excuse by halftime. It's a Sunday night game. Oh, well, this team has a short week till Thursday. They're playing again. And you can see that the guys are basically like already.
Yeah, they're mailing it in there.
They're already on the next. I don't know. It's an odd thing to see, like, what's that precipice point where it starts dripping down.
Well, yeah, I think it's all these independent streaming networks, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like every one of these networks now wants to host a game so that they get that market share on any given night. So like, they do the Prime games and the Peacock games and like all this stuff.
It's like bowl games
like
with the NFL now.
There was like a YouTube game. Like you could watch it on the app for free, but there was like a YouTube game.
And you couldn't watch it on anything else, wasn't it? You could only watch it on YouTube.
I think that was an exclusive YouTuber, wasn't it?
You could watch it
baseball
on
that they did that?
YouTube and YouTube TV.
Right, that's what I mean, but you couldn't watch it on regular TV.
But that's the same with like the Peacock games and the Prime games, right? I don't think you can watch those on other networks.
Unless you're on the home team.
Unless you're probably the home team.
Oh, maybe. You're getting the regular broadcast. So.
But I mean, I would love to know how YouTube is doing with getting because the NFL thing package used to be like the reason everybody went to DirecTV.
Sure.
And I have a lot of buddies that are like super football guys, and I don't think any of them have got the package anymore because you don't have to watch 6 games at a time because now they're spread out over Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
Yeah. Did you see Jason Kelsey on the commercial? He was watching every game. He definitely had it. And they just kept hitting the more button.
Yes.
More NFL.
More NFL. They didn't appear to have enough. They just kept hitting more.
Yeah.
No.
He broke the machine.
He broke the machine.
There weren't that many games.
Yeah, he said, look what we did.
There weren't that many games. So.
But I mean, it goes back to a guy that's 330 plus pounds running 18 miles an hour.
Yeah. You want to see it.
Well, you do want to see it, but I mean, like, his body.
Yeah.
Like,
it can only hold up so many games. I mean,
they went to the 18 games from the 16 games. Like,
on that specific play, that for me, like loving football, the craziest part is not him running 18 miles an hour. It's if you watch the first 2 seconds. Like Mike and I talked about this. Yeah. This was not a pass. Sure. They didn't need to block him for 4 seconds, 3 seconds. They needed to block him for 1 second.
Right.
And if you watch the first snap of that ball, if you go back and watch it, he lifts 2 grown men off the ground, one with each hand, and ran right. It looked like the Kool-Aid man busted through the wall. Like they were like non-factors. They weren't even speed bumps in his way, and they're professional athletes. Sure. Yeah. They weren't even able to slow. Like he just decided. It was like Varsity Blues with he just decided I'm going to go block this kick, and he moved people out of the way and just went and blocked the kick.
That's wild.
It was wild. You don't see, and then the Jets did like you weren't. I was home. We had just gotten home, and I watched like the second half, and then they went to the Jets Tampa game.
Okay.
And Tampa went to kick a field goal and got it blocked. The Jets returned it for a touchdown, and took the lead, but they're the Jets. So with a minute left, they let Mayfield drive all the way back down the field, and then they won. Okay. But the Jets, literally one play after another. Like they went from the Eagles game blocked touchdown to the Jets. Jets blocked it and scored a touchdown.
That's crazy.
I don't know that I've ever seen. There was like 5 or 6 field goal blocks yesterday.
Wild.
Like just a complete breakdown.
Yeah. But and that Bucker guy, he missed one. He hit one off the upright and went in. Yeah.
On the nail thing, Mara was doing her nails late last night on the soccer front. She had a good weekend, and her mom said she scored on Saturdays. And Aaron said, if you score on Sunday, we'll do your nails. And so then Mara scored. She walked up the field and was like, I'm doing my nails, which is not her thing normally. I was surprised.
Yeah.
And she's an 8th grader now.
She's an 8th grader now. That's fine. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. It's just it caught me off guard.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a young man that was going to stop by the house yesterday afternoon or evening, and I was ready for it.
You had your gun all shined up, shell casings on the table.
I was dressed appropriately for the occasion.
That's good.
Ready. I was ready. But
he actually did arrive.
He drove past and didn't come back.
He did arrive, looked in the window, and was like, nope. Nope.
Yeah.
If your Ring camera went off, you might want to watch that again. There might be a time where someone came to knock at the door and just stopped.
He didn't come over though. Addie was disappointed.
But I think Addie probably saw you and was like, maybe made a call. Maybe not tonight. Today's not your day.
I'll be waiting for the right time. He's going to stop over.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's not today.
Well, it's like, what do you choose here? Like, it's something threatening or something embarrassing. So, because one or the other, they both can accomplish the same thing, right? So, bathing suit or
do the Pat McPhee thing or what?
Brian had like a Speedo with the double holstered guns. Fully ready. He went both.
Yeah.
I'm just flat out crazy.
Like basketball tearaway pants, double holster.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm closer than Ford is. Ford's got some time to figure it out. He's got to get to somewhere far away.
It's not that bad. You've got good kids. I've got good kids. They're going to make good decisions. Everyone makes mistakes. So
just keep on.
Each time. Be consistent. Be consistent about the way you're trying to handle it.
That was magical, Brian. Way to do that. That was magical.
He brought it right back.
He was able to pull that back together.
That's the reason we've been here 4 years. He always finds a way to wrap it up.
That's too funny. Yeah. That was unintentional, but it felt good.
Very successful, Brian. Way to go.
Yeah. So, all right, that's probably a fair place to wrap it up. 208 episodes. I don't know what 209th will be about. We'll figure that out in a few days. But folks, we hope you got something from this, and we hope you keep coming back. Thanks.